Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we have got gigantic news, and I do mean gigantic news for the Pokemon TCG. That Pokemon 151 set that I told you about the other day that had been listed over on Japanese websites is real. It's been announced. And it looks like, and I've said this before, and I've meant it every time, and I'm saying it again, and I mean it now, it might be the best set ever. It might legitimately be one of the coolest, most exciting sets we have ever seen in the Pokemon TCG. Now, just before we get going, no, this isn't an April Fool's. Firstly, I'm not going to be uploading this till gone midday UK time, and April Fool's only counts until midday, and I'm in the UK, so I'm out of time. And secondly, I don't do April Fools like that. One of my least favourite things about April Fools is people try and make genuine, believable announcements and then go, I was lying the whole time, tee-hee-hee. It annoys me, I'm not doing it. I kind of pride myself on the fact that I'm a reliable source of information and you can trust what I say. You're not going to see me staking that on a stupid April Fool's prank. This was revealed on the Champions League stream over in Japan this morning, and I promise you this is 100% real and 100% legit. So what we've got here is a Pokemon card 151 set, and it looks amazing. It is releasing on the 16th of June of this year, and it's a little bit weird because there are 7 cards per pack, and each pack costs 290 yen, which is a little bit more than normal, but 7 cards per pack, super exciting. We are all good. And as the name might suggest, it seems to be featuring exactly there's 165 cards in the set, but it seems to be featuring all of the Pokemon. I mean, if we go and have a look at this little graphic here, you'll notice there is a lovely Bulbasaur, a lovely Charmander, a lovely Squirtle, and a lovely Pikachu. But look at the numbers of those cards. Bulbasaur is card number 1. Bulbasaur is number 1 in the Pokedex. Charizard is card number 4, it's number 4 in the Pokedex. Squirtle is card number 7, it's number 7 in the Pokedex. And Pikachu is card 25, it's number 25 in the Pokedex. And no, there's no way this is some kind of coincidence here or anything silly like that. This is very much a deliberate thing. This is very much designed. So have a think back to all of your favourite Pokemon from Gen 1. They're all going to be in here. And that's kind of awesome. Now, what is kind of amazing here is if we look at this graphic the lovely Antoine Boulet has made, yes, I told them I'd be stealing this, don't worry, and you can see there are callbacks to the original artwork, which I very much enjoy. It looks amazing. It is also worth pointing out not every Pokemon did actually get a card in the base set. That's not necessarily a thing. It did take a couple of sets for all of those Pokemon to actually make their way over into the card game. So do please bear in mind that there is not necessarily a base set artwork of your favorite Pokemon, but because not every Pokemon got a card in the base set. But this is going to feature all 151 Pokemon from Kanto, and I am absolutely loving it. This looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, this is worth getting excited about. Now, in terms of how this is going to be released in English, from everything we've seen from listings, etc., and this is not confirmed, let's be 100% clear, but from everything we can see from listings, it very much seems like this is going to be released as its own set. Think basically like Crown Zenith. In the same way that V-Star Universe ended up being, its own set in Japan, but then was moved over here as Crown Zenith, expect that to be a similar kind of thing here. No guarantee or anything like that. We're going to need to wait for an official announcement before we can say for certain, but come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. This seems a little bit too perfect. This is the way they generally tend to do it. So in the same way V-Star Universe became Crown Zenith over here, expect Pokemon card set 151 to be some kind of special set over here. It is worth getting excited about. Probably nearer the end of the year. Think around about October time would be a decent guess. December's too close to Christmas. November, we're going to have our Scarlet and Violet 4 set, so expect this to be a set which is coming around about October time. That would be the sensible guess. Now, they have revealed one of the EXs from the set here that is very much worth taking a look at in this video, and it's Mew EX. And Mew EX looks good, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very good. Because you see, this is an ability which is going to sound a little bit familiar. Once during your turn, you may draw until you've got 3 cards in your hand. Now, some of you are immediately going to think back to the old Oran Guru as an example. Not a bad comparison, incidentally. This is very much like the old Oran Guru. And some of you newer players are instead going to be thinking back to Kricketune. Here's the thing, though. Kricketune has something which is infinitely, well, a little bit better at least than this, but it's also got something which is much worse. You see, what is better about Kricketune is it's got that extra thing whereby if Kricketune is in the active, you get to draw a 4th card. So Kricketune draws until you've got 3 cards in hand, unless it's active, in which it draws until you've got 4 cards in hand. That's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very good thing. But Kricketune also has that very specific wording, you can't choose more than 1 exciting stage ability each turn. That is absent from Mew. I should say I did the translations here all myself. However, I did have to check with the lovely Antoine Boulet about the ability. The first image we had from which I was working was a little bit blurry. It wasn't ideal, so I can only apologise that it wasn't perfect. That makes me a little bit sad. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I checked with the lovely Antoine Boulet, and we are good. It's definitely missing, incidentally. I might have struggled a tiny bit getting the translation initially, but it literally just says, your turn, you can use this once. Your hand, draw until you've got 3. And there's nothing else after it. That last little bit, Yamafuda wo Hiku, and again, forgive my pronunciation, that is basically draw from your deck. That's what that means. So it means there's nothing else after it saying this is limited to once during your turn, which means it is not limited to once during your turn. It's once per Mew per turn, but it is not properly once during your turn. If you have multiple Mew, you can use this ability on each of the Mew that you have, just like the old Oran Guru. And this is huge, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely huge. It is a basic Pokemon with a really, really good draw ability that you can basically be using. And this is phenomenal and fantastic and wonderful. And this is going to see a huge amount of play. Like, this is legitimately going to see a huge amount of play because it's just going to give so much more consistency to, like, every single deck out there. Now, I'm not saying every single deck is going to play it or anything silly like that. What I am, however, saying is that every deck can play it. Every deck, if they wish, can choose to take advantage of this, and all of a sudden they've got more draw power and more consistency, and I do think this is a card we're going to be seeing a huge amount of. Because it's not even just the ability here, the attack is pretty gosh darn good as well. And delighted to say I did get this one all on my lonesome. 3 colourless energy, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, active Pokemon's attacks, and that's what you do. You use it as this attack. You copy one of the active Pokemon's attacks. And we know how the rules work in the Pokemon TCG at this stage. If you have to have the specific energy to use the attack, it will say you must have the specific energy to use the attack. If you don't have to have the specific energy to use the attack, it says nothing. It says nothing. This is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely phenomenal. Because what that means is that all of a sudden, for just 3 colourless energy, you can be copying any of the active Pokemon's attacks. That is legitimately great. Legitimately great. Because you can then just, well, I mean, there's a lot of good attacks out there. And look, there are going to be some that rely on having specific energy attached to your other Pokemon or, you know, things along those lines that aren't going to work. But most of the time, this is going to work absolutely beautifully. It's colourless energy, which means it can fit into any deck. And what we're left with here is a Pokemon that can draw as a basic, which is great, can copy the attacks of your opponent's active Pokemon, which is great, for colourless energy, which is great. And this is hands down, slam dunk 5 Wossie card. No questions whatsoever. This is great. And while we're here quickly, it's Gen 1, so we've got to have a Giovanni card. Not Boss's Orders Giovanni, just Giovanni. Okay, fine, Giovanni's Charisma. Happy now? And actually that is readable because it's all in katakana. But this is another one. I did translate myself, and I'm very proud of myself for doing so. You put 1 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon back into their hand. If you do, you can attach 1 energy from your hand to your active Pokemon. This is another phenomenal card. Firstly, you get rid of your opponent's energy, but it is only from the active. I've checked, it is 100% definitely only the active. And secondly, you get to attach an extra energy. Now, there are several questions here, and they're all answered in the wording. Yes, you can remove any energy. It doesn't have to be basic. Yes, you can attach any energy. It doesn't have to be basic. And very crucially, yes, you have to remove an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon in order to attach with this, which is really important for, attaching an extra energy turn 1 to try and donk, etc. But you're basically here removing your opponent's energy. It's only to their hand, so they can then reattach it next turn, but you're still undoing one of their attachments. And here, you're basically hurting their energy while accelerating extra energy for yourself, and this is just phenomenal and awesome and brilliant. I think this is another 5 Wossie card. Now, this one I could be exaggerating. It might be because it's Saturday and I wasn't expecting too much big news and I'm super hyped. That is a possibility. But I'll tell you something for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very good card, and even if I am exaggerating, even a tiny bit, and it's not quite a 5 Wossie card, make no mistake about it, this is still a very, very good card that is going to see a huge amount of play. Make no mistake about it, this is awesome. This whole set is going to be worth celebrating. If you like Gen 1, and I love me some Gen 1, there is literally no video game in the world that gives me nostalgia like Generation 1 Pokemon does, like Red and Blue does. There is nothing in the world, and I play a lot of video games. I've played a lot of video games ever since I was a very small child. There is no video game that gives me nostalgia like the original Pokemon games. But even if you're not, we've got a phenomenal new Mew card, and we've got a really good new Giovanni card, and we've got a card which is going to be, again, celebrating the history of the Pokemon TCG. And look, I'm a big Pokemon nerd. Any set that celebrates the history of the Pokemon TCG, I am going to get very, very excited about. This is legitimately exciting. It's Saturday. This is a day I spend chilling with my babies. It takes a big piece of news to get me to my computer to go and make a video on a Saturday. And I'll tell you something for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, this totally did it. Yay! But now it's over to you guys. Tell me if you're as hyped as I am. Tell me if you love this. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. And give shout-outs on the channel, like the fantastically named Kanto Royalty, who actually is just in line. They are next up for a shout-out on the videos from the Patreon. But come on, I think today, this is a very appropriate shout-out. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.